Alright, what's going on, guys? It is Monday, May 1st, opening day of 2023 turkey season. I'm out in the same field where I shot my two birds opening day last season, and I was actually going to sit in the same patch of bushes where I sat last year and try to get my first turkey with my bow this year. But we have like a hurricane blowing through. It's literally 30-40 mile an hour winds, and it downpoured last night. There was flooding all the way here. I had about a 20-minute drive to get here. But I knew it was coming, the weather was coming, so I came out here a couple days ago and set up one of my ground blinds here in the corner of these pines. This is actually the same spot where I shot my bird 2 years ago. And I thought I'd be alright just sitting in the pines, but I'm glad I came and set up this blind because it is just crazy outside. But I just got set up. It is 4:55 right now. So it's legal light. It's still so dark I can't even see anything out there because it's just overcast and crappy. But I'm going to hang out and try to stay dry and try not to blow away, and hopefully I can get an arrow and a bird this morning. Alright, well, it's about 7:30. Rain and the wind are starting to let up a little bit. It's getting a little brighter out. I haven't seen any birds at all yet. Chuck sent me a message a little while ago, said he had 2 toms and a bunch of hens out in front of him, but they were too far away to shoot at. And he said they went kind of back down over the other side of the hill from where he was sitting, so we're going to go another hour or so and see what happens. Hopefully the birds will come into the field once it really clears up, but I'm getting pretty chilly. I got a little wet this morning, even though I'm sitting in the blind. The rain is blowing right in through the windows, and my hands are cold because I got soaked and the wind's been blowing right in here, so I'll give it a little while longer, probably another hour or so. If we don't see anything, I'm probably going to go drive around and check some other spots out. Unbelievable luck I have, I'm telling you what. I just packed my stuff up. Literally had all my stuff piled up outside the blind. Walked out into the field to grab my decoys, and I'm kind of on the corner of a bunch of pines, and this field kind of does like an L, or it's more like a T, but I'm like right in the corner of it. I walked out to grab my decoys, looked down the other way, kind of behind me, and there's like 4 or 5 toms down there in the middle of the field, and I think one of them might have seen me, but they're still out there strutting, so I was telling myself that too. I was like, I'm going to sit here a little bit longer, and I was just like thinking, knowing my luck, I'll get up and walk out to get my decoys, and there'll be a bird across the field, and sure enough, they're probably 100 yards away right now, so I'm going to do a little bit of calling and see if I can get them to come over here. Hopefully I didn't blow it. Well, I got 2 birds up there gobbling, at least. I don't know if they're toms or jakes. I don't really care. I'm going to shoot them anyway. I had a hen come right up probably 40 yards from me, and it looked like she was going to come right by, and they were going to fall over by me, but she turned around. They all started walking back away the other direction. I thought they were out of here. I was just going to let them take off, but I think those toms got down on the tree line and got kind of in line with my decoys, and they finally saw them. And they look like they're kind of making their way back over this way, so hopefully we can get them to walk out here. Oh man, that's kind of what I was afraid of. They finally decided to walk by, and the hens are at about 50 yards. And that biggest Tom came in quite a bit closer. He was probably 35 yards. I tried to get him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. Of course, I didn't have my mouth call in. I should have had my mouth call in, but that was kind of a bummer right there. I took the first shot at that first bird and hit him back. Just hit him in the tail. I think I just took a tail feather off. And that second one, my knock didn't light up, so I couldn't really see my arrow, but I almost thought I saw my fletching sticking out of his side. I'd say either that or I just lost 2 arrows probably. But I'm going to let these birds finish working off into the woods, and I'm going to go out and see if I can find my arrow or anything else. At least I get a shot. Alright, what's going on, guys? It is Thursday, May 4th. I am headed back up to the farm to see if there's any birds out in the field. I did stop in there the other day. I got rained out at work, and I went up and tried to get back on those same birds. I showed up and looked out across the field, and those, I think the same 2 toms that I saw Monday were out there right on the stone wall with 1 hen was all I saw, but I think there was actually the whole group of hens had already crossed the stone wall. I snuck down around the other side of the field and tried to call them to me for about a half an hour, and I never saw or heard any birds. So finally I snuck back out and went up, got into a high point and looked back across the field, and all the birds were gone. So I think they were, when I showed up, they were kind of in the process of moving off into the field next door, which is posted. So I'm going to get up here and take a look and see if I can see any birds and try to make a move on them and try to get a shot at something. I'm also going to leave my bow in the truck and probably take a shotgun with me this time around. I already lost 2 arrows on Monday. I was kind of bummed about that. About $70 worth of arrows and broadheads and lighted knocks. So, going to go check it out and see if there's any birds up here. Oh yeah, they're out there. Right on the edge of the pines too, which is perfect. I'm going to try to sneak down behind the barn and get into those pine trees. Might be a good chance of getting close enough so I can ambush them. Alright, I just got into the pine trees here. I don't know if you guys can really tell, but that's kind of what I have to go through. And the field is actually up that way about 50 yards, but you can't even see any light through there, so it's the only tricky part about this. Trying to sneak up on them in these pines is it's so thick that I can't see where the birds are out in the field until I get like pretty much right up on the edge. So kind of looks like they're doing the same thing they were doing Monday morning. They were kind of going from the top high part of the field up on the ridge and then coming down to the edge of these pines and then going back up and back and forth. And finally they made their way down to the end of these pines, which is where my ground blind is. And I got a shot at a couple of them, but ended up just losing a couple arrows. So I'm going to have to really creep my way up through here. Hopefully they are doing the same thing, because if I can manage to sneak up on the edge of these pines while they're up in the field, I might be able to get set up. And then those hens might bring those toms right back down to me. So. And as you can see, I lost my face mask. I lose hunting gloves and face masks every year. I have to buy new ones. I have no idea what I did with mine. I don't know if I dropped it on the ground somewhere or what, but for that matter, it could be in my blind on the ground. But I'm going to get moving up through these pines real slow and try to sneak up on these birds. just got set up to where I wanted to be, right here on the edge of the field. I got looking all around and couldn't see those birds anywhere. I figured, knowing my luck, they got spooked and took off. But I just started calling, and as soon as I called, they're right in front of me, just up over the rise right here. So hopefully I get them to come down close enough without spotting me in the bushes here. I really wish I had my face mask, wherever that is. Well, that worked out awesome. I actually was going to shoot one with my shotgun and then try to get one with my bow later on in the season, but those two were lined right up, so I had a perfect one shot. A couple of nice long beards. That's awesome. Not get spurred. That was my setup right there. I was actually sitting right there at first, and I didn't really have a very good view because of that pine branch, so I got over here. Luckily my camera was lower than my head was, so we could see underneath that branch. This guy's still flopping. But those birds heard me calling, and I didn't realize there was 3 of them up there. They came with no hens. Came right up over the top of the ridge and came right at me. And I knew once I saw one of their heads poke up, I wanted to stop calling because I didn't want them to pinpoint my location. But they definitely knew I was right here somewhere, and they were kind of headed off to my left, and then they kind of seemed like they lost interest, and they started putting a little bit and started walking down the field. Right down there is where my actual ground blind is. I probably could have snuck right into that and called them right to me in that, but this was a pretty sweet setup. But we'll get these guys taken care of and get a look at them. Alright, well, there we go. Doesn't get much better than that. A couple of nice birds. 1:15 in the afternoon right now, so it's just after 1 o'clock. Nice long beard. Another nice long beard. Yeah, these guys were pretty fired up. Yeah, I just took a chance, came in and hoping there was birds out here. There was. And I came out here the other day after work. I got rained out at work and came out, and there was 2 toms with like 5 hens, I think. And I was just calling and calling, and they would not leave those hens at all. And I didn't even actually get a good look at these birds. There were some hens with them, but they were actually down here on this edge of the field when I showed up, and I couldn't really get a good look at them. I could see their heads kind of sticking up over the top of the rise, and I saw a couple tails fan up, and I was like, yeah, they're definitely down there. And it really worked out perfect, because where they moved to the other side of the field, it gave me the opportunity. I had to come about 250 yards down through those thick pine trees and sneak up here on the edge. And obviously, if the birds were right out here, I wouldn't have been able to sneak up without them busting me. And it's so thick in there that I couldn't even see out into the field to see where the birds were until I got like literally 15 feet from the edge of the grass. So, I'm going to get these guys in the truck and get them tagged up and registered and get them cleaned out and get out of here. Alright, just got back to the truck. Got my birds registered. Luckily this year they're doing it online, so it's pretty convenient. I don't have to go drive to a store or a tagging station to get it done. Hopefully everybody follows the law and doesn't just shoot birds and not tag them. But pretty decent sized birds. I'm going to throw them on my little digital scale. See how much they weigh. I have no idea. They felt pretty heavy after carrying them 300 yards over my shoulder across the field. Holy crap. But I'm going to throw these guys on the scale and see what they weigh. Alright, get the old scale zeroed out. Let's get it on there. About 17 pounds on that one. Not too bad, not huge, but this one's a little heavier. 20.18, almost 20 and a quarter pounds on that one. Alright, as always guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button down there and subscribe. We appreciate everyone that subscribes and watches our videos. This Saturday I'm going to be taking my wife Melissa and her friend Candace out and try to get them their first birds. This will be their first year turkey hunting. My wife shot her first deer last season, so now she's kind of getting a little more of the hunting bug, I think. So, but I'm going to get out of here, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next one.